Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, find a way to lose. Yo, I had to do this video because a lot of people are talking about Zhang now. But a lot of people see Zhang as a guy with stamina issues. And there was someone who, in the comments, I told him I was going to take this. They said Zhang is just an 18-wheeler with a 4-cylinder gas tank. And that is hilarious. But there's something that we need to understand. You know, where does a person develop that kind of opinion about Zhang? Well, I'm going to tell you, because I've been following Zhang's career for quite some time. And let's be honest, he's a big boy, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't just be at that size, right? And float like a butterfly, sting like a bee in the ring. So with Zhang, he did have some issues that, were on front display. The whole world got to see, where he was in a fight with an opponent that was not as strong, proved to be a little bit stubborn, where Zhang couldn't get him out of there, and Zhang barely made it to the finish line. Like, he was in bad shape. I would show y'all a video, but YouTube, they flagged so much stuff on here. Next thing you know, my channel will be disbanded for a second time, and I don't want to go through that. But anyway, what happened in that fight, the individual who was fighting, his name was Forrest. And Zhang, during that fight, was experiencing kidney failure, liver damage, and anemia. This is during the fight. So what happened is, when he got in the ring, it started off strong, which is how Zhang looks, in the beginning of fights. He looks very, very strong. And when he hits these guys, excuse me, I don't edit yawns out because I'm human. But when he hits these guys, the crowd starts buzzing, and it looks like, hey, it's going to be an early night, because Zhang does have the one-hitter quitter power. But what happened is, Zhang, he looked like he was going to finish off Forrest, but he ended up dropping him in rounds 1, 2, and 3. So when you see that happening, hey, there's no need for the fight to continue. But what happened is, although Zhang had, a 5-inch weight advantage, he came into that fight about 250, 255 pounds, something like that. And you got to look at what he weighed against Joyce, it was 280-something pounds. So he obviously had cut too much weight. Now, you've seen this happen with some of these heavyweight fighters. Andy Ruiz is one who's so worried about trying to get light and have a certain appearance. When, to be honest with you, I think we all liked the fat Andy Ruiz. That fat Andy Ruiz was a problem. This Andy Ruiz who's waking up in silk pajamas and who's dropped like 40 pounds, that's not the same killer that was getting in the ring. But what happened is with this guy Forrest, that guy was just stubborn, man. He wasn't looking to lose. So what happened is Zhang, and his stamina, he started struggling in the fight. And Zhang was in trouble. He was in trouble, man. And how he got to that final bell, I don't know. Because when I tell you Zhang was in trouble, he was in trouble, boy. He was looking fatigued in that ring. So the fight ended up going to the cards. And one of the judges scored the fight for that guy Forrest, 95-93. But the other judges had it 93-93 for a majority draw. So that's how Zhang ended up getting the draw. But this is what came out after, is they went and they talked to Zhang's team. And they were kind of, everyone was just puzzled. Like, what the hell happened? It's like my man said when he described Zhang as an 18-wheeler with a 4-cylinder gas tank. It's like, hey, your big 18-wheeler ran out of gas. What are y'all doing? What happened? So what happened, they talked to Zhang's co-manager, Terry Lane of the Lane Brothers Boxing. And what he ended up saying is they talked about the stamina issue. He said it was a lot more serious than stamina. He said the camp that Zhang had was a great camp. He said for some reason he was extremely dehydrated and his kidneys began to fail during the fight. and he also had very low iron levels. And then they ended up learning that Zhang was anemic. So what happened is Zhang, after that fight, for those who don't know, he was rushed to the hospital, man. My boy wasn't released for 3 days. Head and heart were fine, which obviously because he's still here plugging along, and he was feeling good and everything after the 3 days and meeting with the medical professionals, But the bottom line is, Zhang, I think he learned from that. The hard sparring, the strength and conditioning regimen. He knew there were certain things that had to happen to make sure he didn't end up dying in that ring. So when you see him fight, saw him fight Flip Hrgovic, Zhang had made some changes. And that's why in the Hrgovic fight, Zhang, he got a little bit tired, but Zhang actually got to the finish line and looked a lot stronger than he did when he fought Forrest. But Hrgovic is just a different animal. About the same height, maybe a little taller, same reach, maybe 1 inch longer. An outstanding Olympian, outstanding boxer. But Zhang had Hrgovic in serious trouble, boy. They should have gave Zhang that fight, and Hrgovic was tired too. Like that was just 2 big men just falling all over the damn ring. But the bottom line is, what happened with Zhang, as you can see, where people felt like the stamina issue surfaced again in that fight, but it was nothing near the fight with Forrest. But with Joe Joyce, people are like, whoa, what's going on here? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on. Zhang made more improvements with his strength and conditioning when he fought Joe Joyce in the first fight. But for the second fight, he actually hired a strength and conditioning coach. And he was sparring extremely hard, guys who could bring power to the ring, guys who could bring stamina to the ring, and guys with good chins and a very aggressive offense. And that helped Zhang to be very prepared for Joe Joyce. But I think the difference really is for Zhang is the strength and conditioning coach. So when we talk about Zhang, the big 18-wheeler who, some people still believe has a 4-cylinder gas tank, I am telling you, you can't just rule him out because he is doing what needs to happen. Matter of fact, what you see Zhang doing is what happens when most fighters take a loss. That's when they want to bring in the dietitian, the nutritionist. That's when they want to bring in the strength and conditioning coach. That's when they want to make all these changes, fire the trainer. Not Zhang. He's like, I'm going to do it now. And it helped him to stay on top. It helped him to kind of get his name back in the mix. And it may help Zhang to get in there with the likes of a AJ, of a Usyk, of a Wilder, of a Fury, and for him to possibly get a win. Let me tell you something. Zhang just needs to make sure his stamina is on point, and he's taking the necessary measures to ensure that. So it's very simple, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. The only thing I worry about with Zhang, it being a southpaw, is clash of heads, man. That's what I'd be worried about. And other than that, that's about it. I mean, if he fights Wilder, we already know what to be concerned about there. I mean, I tell you what, him and Wilder, like I said, I title that fight the death wish because you're talking about a fight being pay-per-view worthy. Everybody would be on the edge of their seats. If Zhang and Wilder fought, I don't care what you think about Wilder, what you think about Zhang. Let me tell you, if those two were to fight, I'm telling you, the whole damn boxing world will be on the edge of their seats because we all know what Zhang can do and we know definitely what Wilder can do. And I'm telling you, man, that's going to be all good if those fellas get in there. But the bottom line with Zhang, and look, his body was shutting down in that fight with Forrest. He had stamina issues in the past, but nothing quite like that. He had to test his blood. Everything, look, consult with other experts, nutritionists, and bottom line is he's in a much better space now. So the 18-wheeler, who some believe still has a 4-cylinder gas tank, I don't know if I agree with that anymore, but I could understand why a person would feel that way because that's what it looked like, especially if you go back and you pull up. Matter of fact, if for those of you who have time, go back and take a look at Zhang. And look at that fight where he fought Jerry Forrest. You know, just go look at the highlights. It doesn't take what's like a 1 or 2 minute of highlights. Go look at that, and you'll understand why people are like, once Zhang gets in there and he has to go 5, 6 rounds, maybe 8 rounds against a Fury, against an AJ, against a Wilder, he's gonna be huffing and puffing, and he's gonna get knocked off his pedestal. But I don't think so. I think Zhang is a problem. At the same time, the man's an Olympia. You know what I'm saying? You just don't get to the point where he's at, Wilder's at, AJ's at, coming out of the Olympics, etc., without having something special about you. All right. But that being said, Zhang, only time will tell if he's really still that 18-wheeler with a 4-cylinder gas tank. But I tell you what, if he doesn't want to be that guy anymore, he better stick with this damn strength and conditioning coach, the nutritionist, and all that, because it seems that it helped him with Joe Joyce. And going forward, he's definitely going to need it with just the possibility of him fighting a Usyk, especially Usyk, fighting the Wilder, fighting the AJ, fighting the Tyson Fury. He's going to need it. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.